Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about what happens when your service treatment records, your in-service records, do not reflect accurately the conditions that you have today that you're trying to get approved with the VA for disability compensation. Now, it could be just not annotated correctly in your service treatment records, or it could just be completely not there. Completely not there. Whatever. You get it. So, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every like, subscription, every minute watched helps to push this information into the hands of those that need it. And all of us together doing that. Stan agrees. All right, Stan's my rooster for those that don't know. He's got a loud mouth. All right, so let's jump into it. The number one thing that people get denied for is lack of nexus, the link between your condition and your time in service. Now, what the VA is looking for here is not necessarily show me that the military caused your condition, unless it did, of course, right? But what they're really saying is something a little more broad. Show me, prove to me, the VA, that your condition manifested during service or is a result of your time in service in some shape, way, whatever. So we rely, now this is excluding presumptives. Presumptive conditions, and the reason everybody talks about them is that they are golden in the sense that you do not need to prove nexus. The VA has eliminated the need for the nexus and presume that because you served here during this time frame, you most likely got that condition from your time in service, and we'll just call it what it is, which is a great thing, right? Presumptives are very, very important. But barring that and just focused on the regular service-connected stuff, which most of us need in order to get a substantial rating, you need to prove that nexus, right? Now, ideally, I got to talk about this to get to the part where we need to be, so bear with me. Ideally, you have to have, well, no, that's wrong. Ideally, you would have mentioned it during your time in service, got diagnosed for something, have some sort of medical record of the condition during your time in service. Now, what happens when that doesn't exist? Okay, or it's not really, I guess, annotated correctly, we'll say. So now the first thing you need to understand is you, as the veteran, should always be the provider of the information for your claim. Do the work yourself. In other words, don't tell the VA just blanket, go get everything that you need regarding me from my, private doctors, from wherever, here's all the places I've been. Please, just you go do it for me because it'll make my life easier. In some ways, yes, it will make your life easier, but in other ways, there could be conflicting information, and then they get weird, and then, it's a whole problem. So, be the controller of the information is my first piece of advice here. If you don't have anything or a small amount of information in your service treatment records that apply and are favorable, well, then use those. Or if you don't have any, then don't use them, right? Don't even send anything from your service treatment records if they're not tied in with what you're actually submitting for. Now, there's one little caveat to that, and that is a BDD claim, a benefits delivery at discharge claim. When you do a benefits delivery at discharge claim, which I get it, the majority of you aren't in that boat. For those that are still serving and getting ready to get out, they have the option to file what's called a benefits delivery at discharge, and that affords them the opportunity to file a claim 6 months prior, up to 6 months prior to their exit date. Okay, not their terminal leave date, but the exit date, and then a 3 month. So it's a 3 month to 6 month window that you have in order to file that claim, BDD. With that, you have to submit all of your medical records from your time in service. So it is what it is. So again, most people that are watching this are probably on the other side of that. Now, Again, the big piece here is be the controller of the information that you send, number one. Number two, you don't have to send anything from your medical records, your service treatment records at all. So if it's not favorable for you for some reason, don't send it. And I mean, it could be not favorable because you never mentioned it when you were in. Why? Well, because you were in. And I will tell you that the shorter time period you did, the more likely you didn't say anything, right? If you did 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, you might not have mentioned anything. If you did 6 years, 8 years, 10 years or beyond, you'll start to actually see the doctor and do things because you got a little bit of rank on your sleeve or whatever, and now you can get in there and make that a priority a little bit to take care of yourself. So here you are without any evidence in your claim or in your service treatment records at all. Oh well. Now what you need to do is what I call, you need to go and try to manufacture that evidence, right? You need to go get, essentially, witness statements, right? You need to provide a statement yourself. You need to have a professional write a statement on your behalf, okay? What are all of these things? Well, it's a Nexus letter from your doctor, right? It's a letter from you stating a statement regarding your situation. I was in from here to there. When I joined, I had nothing wrong with me. Partway through, I started to have these issues. It was during my this, it was during my that, it was, this, whatever. I mean, it could be anything. On the PT run, I twisted my ankle, I fell over, I had to limp through the rest of it. I told them I was fine, and I just walked it off, but it's been bothering me ever since, right? Whatever it is. I started getting migraines, halfway through, whatever. And I got my first migraine. It was horrendous, and I started getting a migraine every single month since then. And I just take Motrin and move on and drink water, right? Find a cool, dark place and hum myself until, hum to myself until my migraine goes away. So this would be a statement that you're going to write. And I would also, most likely, for me, I would say something to the effect of, it was frowned upon to go to medical for anything unless it was actually like a horrific injury. Barring that, you just kind of dealt with it with your medic and you moved on and nothing really got annotated. So you would write something like that, right? I get a handful of Motrin from my medic or my corpsman and move on. So your statement, you're going to get the statements from anybody that knew you during your time of service, right? Ideally, it's people you served with that could attest to, oh yeah, that person's got sleep apnea. And, we used to throw boots at him because he would be making, all kinds of crazy noises in the middle of the night. Or I witnessed him take handfuls of Motrin because of his migraine. So you get those buddy statements. Then you would coordinate with your doctor, have the conversation with your doctor, have your doctor write you that Nexus letter, and submit the claim with that to see what you could do. Now, there could be things tied to your MOS. Whatever your MOS is, if you have back issues, the fact that you are carrying a heavy pack, if you're infantry or what have you, or a medic assigned or a corpsman assigned to that type of a unit, you're humping around all that weight, of course your back's going to be jacked up. So anything that you could tie to your MOS, having that discussion with your doctor, explaining to them what you did, what you went through, how you self-treated, that type of stuff would be important. So I just want to open up the eyes a little bit and let you know you don't have to give everything to the VA. You can be the selector of what you send. If it's for you and going to help your claim, great. Utilize that. Work with your primary care, write your own statement, get statements from people that knew you, even family members attesting to the fact of their knowledge of knowing that you didn't have any problem with X and now you do. So that's just a way to try to package up a claim. Again, the ideal situation, which is very unlikely, is I was diagnosed when I was in service. Here's all my medical records. Just the fact that the date of the diagnosis and medical records were during your time in service, that's the nexus. Just the dates alone showing that it's happened during your service is all the VA is looking for. So without that, you need to kind of tell the story. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. Remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.